Hello everyone and welcome back to Soul Stained Ink. My name is Beth and I am here with my final recommendations video for books that will match the bingo board for HallowTween 2023. If you haven't seen any of the other videos, I have already posted one for Retro Spooky, one for Monster Mash, one for Creepy Cover, and one that covers purple on the cover, green on the cover, and orange and black on the cover. Today we are going to do Turn on the Lights, which is books that will make you want to turn on the lights. Face Your Fears, so books that are about something you're scared of. And Trick or Treat, books that are in fall. They're set in fall or Halloween time. Now, most of these will be reiterations of books that I have suggested throughout the rest of the week, although I do have a couple of new ones for you. So if they are ones that I have already discussed, I'm not going to read the summary for you. You can go back to the other videos. I will try to remember to tell you which other prompts these will hit. So first off, Turn on the Lights. I have City of Ghosts and Tunnel of Bones, as well as Bridge of Souls, which is book 3. These are by Victoria Schwab. And we'll also go for Creepy Cover. And I was going to say orange and black, but that's more of a red. But Creepy Cover and Face Your Fears if you're scared of ghosts and things that go bump in the night. Next, I have Frozen Charlotte by Alex Bell. This one will go for Creepy Cover. And all of these can kind of sort of go for Monster Mash as well. Next, I have Prince of the Mist, and really any of the 3 Carlos Ruiz Zafón books that I have mentioned in almost every video. So Retro Spooky, Monster Mash, Creepy Cover. This one does not have any of the colors on the cover, but one of his other ones does. Then I have Tim Tingle's How I Became a Ghost. Now, this one is about the Choctaw Trail of Tears. It does have the main character dying early on-ish, but it goes into detail about like a belief system that the Choctaw have where he passed away and then he became a guiding spirit. His family can see him. One of his buddies can turn into a panther. So this is a really good book to read. And the second book in the series, which is When a Ghost Talks, Listen, and any other book in the series, and really anything by Tim Tingle, they have that vibe where you can definitely read them for Halloween, but they are Choctaw myths and legends that he writes because he is a Choctaw storyteller. And he's really, really good at what he does. So definitely check out his stuff if you want something that's a little creepy, but not super bad. And this series works for Turn on the Lights and also Face Your Fears. Any of these can work for Face Your Fears. The Ghost That Came Alive by Vic Kroom. And then Night Books and Grave Books by J.A. White. These are all creepy enough to make you want to turn on the lights. Next we have The Dracula Murders and our other 2 Carlos Ruiz Zafón books, The Watcher in the Shadows, which is green, and The Midnight Palace. They're also retro spooky because they were originally published in the 90s, though they were not published in English until the 2000s. And I'm kind of sad that I missed out on reading these in my youth, but I'm really glad that I discovered him now. He has a very spooky way of writing, and I love it. This one is orange and black on the cover, and this one is green on the cover as well. And they do have monstrous entities in them, so they honestly can work for almost all of the prompts. Next we have Face Your Fears. So I've got The Evil Wizard Smallbone by Delia Sherman. If you are afraid of being trapped somewhere, if you are afraid of having to fight against an evil you don't really understand, If you are afraid of having to deal with toxic family that you have cut off, you can face your fears with this book. I've also got When a Ghost Talks, Listen. Like I said earlier, this is the second in the How I Became a Ghost series. And if you are afraid of being kidnapped, dragged around by people who don't understand your culture, being put down and possibly physically injured because of it, these books are for you. Next, I've got Skeleton Tree by Kim Ventrella. This follows Stanley and his little sister Mirren, who's got a skeleton that grew in a tree, and now Mirren is mysteriously sick, and it's probably because of the skeleton. So if you are concerned about somebody you are close to becoming mysteriously ill or injured and you don't know how to help, you've got to deal with their sickness and trying to figure out how to help them, this is a good one for you. Next, I've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer, New School Nightmare. If you are afraid of going into a new place and having to find your place there, and possibly also having to deal with other things like vampires and monsters, this is for you. Can I Get There by Candlelight is about a girl who time travels 100 years into the past and has to figure out how to get home. If you are afraid of going to new places, somehow getting lost and not being able to find your way home, this one is a not so spooky read for you. Cinders and Sparrows by Stefan Bachman. I'm so sorry. Stefan Bachman. This is about an orphan who finds out she has a family, but they're all dead. Now she has to fight evil. If you are afraid of losing your family or inheriting something just absolutely terrible, that one's for you. Slappy World this one is The Revenge of the Invisible Boy, so it's all about some bullying and turning invisible. So if you are afraid of turning invisible yourself because no one pays attention to you, or just of someone creeping around and messing with your stuff, this one will work for you. Next, we have The In-Between by Rebecca K.S. Ansari. So this one is about Cooper, and he has been he has just been lost. His dad left them 3 years ago. He's very distant from his family and friends. He doesn't know what to do. And then they find out that the super creepy girl next door has a connection with an unsolved mystery death from like 100 years ago and has to do with trains. So if you are afraid of like dying in some giant disaster, or especially trains, or finding out that there's some weird mystery going on and you might be next, this is one for you. Next, I have a giant stack is what I have. Hold on. Next, I have DC Heroes, Secret Hero Society comics. This is the Study Hall of Justice, and it is a graphic novel comic book multimedia presentation over here, multimodal. This is by Derek Friedhoffs and Dustin Nguyen, and there are several in this series. I've got the first two. These deal with DC superheroes when they were in school, and so they go to school together. The villains also attend school here, and if you are just afraid of situations where you have to deal with people or of getting in trouble because you were trying to make something right, these books are definitely for you. Next, I have Gregory Maguire's What the Dickens. This is about rogue tooth fairies, basically. Skibberines taking the teeth and fighting battles with them and things. So this story follows a group whose parents go missing. There's 3 kids. Their parents go missing in the middle of a giant storm, and they're scared, and their brother starts telling them this story of Skibberines, just terrifying tooth fairies. So if you're afraid of storms, of people going missing during storms, or of just crazy tooth fairies, this might be for you. And then finally, Help, I'm a Prisoner in the Library by F. Clifford, illustrated by George Hughes. This book follows a set of sisters who get locked in a library, and if you're terrified of being locked in a place and discovering kind of horrific things while you're in there, this might be the book for you. Did I mention that their dad went to find help before they were locked in the library and he doesn't really know where they are? Yeah. If any of that sounds terrifying to you, this might be the book for you. And then finally, we have Trick or Treat, which is a book set in the fall or around Halloween. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't completely remember when these books were set. I know that at least one of these is set in like the fall time. I think City of Ghosts is. I'm not sure about Tunnel of Bones. I think Bridge of Souls might be. I don't 100% remember at all, but one of them is. The Carlos Ruiz Zafón books, I again do not 100% remember. One of them is set kind of at the end of summer, but they're all very foggy and mysterious, and that's what I remember. I don't necessarily remember the time of year that they were set. Um, I think that The Watcher in the Shadows is set more in the fall, and The Prince of Mist is set more in the summer, and then the Midnight Palace I do not 100% recall. So they may not actually work for this, but I think at least one of them does. The Ghost That Came Alive I think is set in the autumn, but again, it's been a long time since I've read it. All of these may be going on my reread list for October. Night Books, I'm pretty sure, is set in the in the fall, because at the beginning he talks about he was in school and like he turned in a story that his teacher didn't like, and he's been in school for a few weeks, so I think it's in the fall. Grave Books is, however, not set in the fall. So that is important to note. And we have the Dracula Murders, 100% set around Halloween. And then Save Halloween, again, 100% set around Halloween. So these are my final book recommendations to go along with our bingo board. So again, HallowTween 2023, retro spooky monster mash, creepy cover, purple on cover, green on cover, orange and black on cover, turn on the lights, face your fears, and trick or treat. So this is beginning at midnight. As soon as we roll over into October 1st, boom. I am super excited. I think I'm going to be rereading probably most of the stack of things I just showed you, along with my TBR that I posted earlier in the month. And I would love to know what you're going to be reading. So if you post a TBR, link it down below. Let me know to go watch it. And if you've read any of these, want to read any of these, or have recommendations of your own, let me know in the comment section down below. We'll talk to you again soon. Until next time, stay safe out there, guys. Bye.